Java tutorials. This is Swastik. Now, before we start with today's presentations about data types, variables, typecasting arrays, operators, and the precedences, there are some notable changes I did to my system. First of all, I upgraded to Windows 10 over here and put the school Deadpool wallpaper. Pull my taskbar even to the left. It gives a nice feel to my system. Anyways, let's start with today's presentation. We have data types, variables, typecasting arrays that we'll be covering today, and in the next video we'll be covering the operators and the precedences. Java supports basically two types of data types, primitive and non-primitive. What data types basically are? They are the building blocks of any program including Java. They'll be helping us or aiding us, and we'll be writing the programs. You can pause this video and check for the size for the primitive data types. In non-primitive data types, we have the string arrays, and will be there are others, a few more. We'll be getting to know them as we encounter them. Wrapper classes, as I mentioned in my first video, that since Java was not fully object-oriented, so due to the presence of the due to the presence of primitive data types, wrapper classes was introduced. You can again pause this video, check for the default values and the wrapper classes for the primitive data types. Next, we have variables. Variables are nothing but what a programmer or a user declares for his convenience in a program. For example, we want to add two values and store them in a third value. For example, we can have two variables x and y. Their summation, we can store it in another third variable, say sum. Now there are some naming conventions for variables. They can be alphabets or numbers, but the first letter must be an alphabet. Then there are no special characters allowed in variable names except for underscore and dollar symbols. Variable names cannot be and should not be keywords. For example, void, int, float, they cannot be variable names. Now Java supports total 6 types of variables. First of all, we'll be discussing them, giving 1-2 line intro for each, and then moving on to their code. Local variables are those which have a specific scope. The scope can be of a method, a block, or a constructor only. Now, we'll move on to the code and get to know it better. I've created a class variables. Okay, another thing I forgot to mention in my second video, the explanation of a Java program, is that if you're declaring a class with the public access specifier, then you have to save it with the Java file's name. Wherever you're saving it, the Java file's name must be the same as the class name. This is mandatory. Okay, anyways, back to our local variables. Over here, int a is not a local variable because it is not a part of the class. It's not a part of the member like method or a block or a constructor. It is a part, might be a part of a Java class or object. We'll see them later. Now, over here, int b is a local variable. It is part of a constructor. What constructor are, we'll discuss later. But for the time being, you can say that the constructor name must be same as the class name. They should not have a return type, and they are called whenever the object of the class is called. B is a local variable. Over here, C is also local variable since it's present inside the scope of the show method. D is also a local variable. It is present inside the scope of a static block. Now what blocks are basically, there are two types of blocks. The one like over here is a static block. Now this one is a non-static block. Now one more thing, they help in increasing the modularity of a program. One more note that I would make over here for the static block is that the execution of static block happens prior to the main method's execution. But this does not mean that static blocks are, the control passes to the static blocks first. No, JVM calls the main method first. Then internally it is checked if any static blocks are present. If present, their execution will be prior to the first line. The execution will happen first, and then the first line of the main method gets executed, but main is called first. Okay, now over here x is a local variable. I'm trying to print it, but it will generate an error. Reason being that declaring a local variable is fine, but if you're not initializing it, then you cannot access it. That is a rule. Now in over here I have initialized it x equals to 10. I have given a value, then I'm trying to print it. It works fine, it will print me 10. You can write these codes and check in your command prompt or in your terminal if you're a Linux user. Now, basically there are three ways of calling any class member, be it a data member or a method member. You can call it directly or by the class name or by the object name. In the first way I showed, we are calling directly. In the second way, over here I am trying to call it through a class name, but it will generate an error for the reason that X is not a part of the Java class or the Java member, Java object, the class object, whatever. It is part of the main method. Its scope ends there, so it cannot be accessed by the class name. Similarly, it cannot be accessed by the object name. New variables is the object of variables class. This is a way of writing an object and trying to access it through an object. Even then it will give an error for the same reason. Next we have our static variables. Static variables are prefixed with a static keyword. They create single copies for a variable and their default initialization is possible. The default value for their initialization is the same as that of the data type of that variable. For example, I'm writing over here static int a. The default value will be initialized to 0. I do not have to write 0 over here. When I'll try to print it, I'm calling it directly, it will print me 10. Similarly, I'm trying to call it through the class name also, it will print me 10. I'm trying to call it through the object, again it will print me 10. But there is a convention. Its preferred way of calling a static variable is through the class name, because static variables create single copies, so there is no point of creating multiple objects. And since object uses space, will be if you are creating multiple objects for a static variable, you'll be wasting a lot of space. You can call them directly and without using any object space. I've just used another, in this example I've used just another class called callWar. Inside that main method is present and I'm trying to call it. Obviously from the direct way of calling, it won't be accessible because a is not present inside this class. I can call it by the class name or the object name. Next we'll be moving on to the non-static or instance variables. These variables create different copies for different objects of that class. They also can have the default initialization similar to the static variables. Now, one more thing, that non-static variables are part of the Java object. Static variables are part of the Java class. So I cannot call them directly or I cannot call them by object class name. I have to call them by the object name like I have called over here. The previous two statements will generate an error. You can write these codes and check in the command prompt or terminal. Similarly, as I did in static variables, I created another class callWar and tried to access them, access this integer a from another class. Also, I have to do it through the object. I cannot do it in any other way. Next, we have our final variables. Final variables are similar to the const variables that we use in C, C++. What they do, that they prevent reinitialization of a variable. That is, let's say I've initialized this x to 10. Then I cannot reinitialize. This line over here will generate me an error. Also, there is a convention that we have to use static and final together. Reason being, since final variables cannot be reinitialized, they remain the same throughout the program. So why do we need to create multiple copies? We can work with a single copy will suffice. So static variables are used. Now, what are transient and volatile variables? We'll be covering them in the further later slides because we need some other concepts for that. In the next video, we'll be covering the methods and the operators and the precedences, how we typecast certain data types. Thank you for watching.